Buying a home in Wichita, Kansas has 4 upcoming opportunities for Q3, Q4 of 2024 this year. And we're going to get into that here shortly. But before we get into all that, please like, comment, subscribe, share. All those fun things help grow the channel, support Wichita, local businesses, small business, that kind of thing. But we're going to go ahead and get into sharing the screen. Just get right to it. So the 4 things that we're seeing for the opportunities for home buyers this year is the supply of homes for sale is growing. There's more new home construction going on, less buyer competition, and then also home prices are moderating. And I'm going to break that down with the graphs and show you here in a second exactly what we're talking about to go with that. And that way it gives you a better idea, like straight from the data and the facts, what's going on. Because that's more of our brand, our style, just being straightforward, transparent, based on data and truth, not necessarily popular opinion, hearsay, headlines, that kind of thing. We want to show you the real data to base your smart decisions off of so that we can be strategic in the situation. That's why I got into this career from being in construction for 12 years, flipping houses for 10 and licensed for 8. And I saw a lot of need for a greater service level for agents, not only for myself, but then also for my clients, and providing them the worthwhile, transparent, responsive, available services for the marketplace that needs the help, especially reload home buyers. They're some of my favorite people to work with. Moving to Wichita, getting to know Wichita. There's a lot of videos on this channel around Wichita and real estate and how it works, and all those things go with that. And I'd love to work with you and talk with you. Shoot me a message if I could help you out with that and do some of these Zoom consults, video calls. There should be a link to my website down below for checking out my credibility, my experience, that kind of thing. And then also a way to book a call with me if you want to discuss your unique situation of moving to Wichita and helping you out with that, whether that's now, a year from now, 2 years from now, it doesn't matter. We can talk and see where we can potentially help you out. Well, let's go ahead and get into the data. So the first one we're going to look at is the number of active listings by month. And this is straight from our market report. 2024 is in blue, 2023 is in green, 2022 is in red. And you can see where the number of active listings in the winter first Q quarter is typically pretty small, especially 22, but then 23, we had a lot more listings. And then 2024, we were sitting at a lot of listings starting out at 1321. And really, it's just been continuing to climb with this. And to give you perspective, 1621 units is about 2.1 months of inventory in the Wichita market. It's really got to get to 6 months of inventory to be a balanced market and to be a buyer's market. Now, obviously, that varies by price point to give you an idea, but to show you as far as what we mean with number of listings is growing, this is the data, the proof to show you how we basically have twice as many listings now as we did last year with it all. So there are more listings, there are more options. If you've been waiting around, sitting on the sidelines, being like, there's nothing out there, I just don't like it, there's more options than ever right now. And here you can see like this continues to grow typically all the way into the fall and winter season. So if you're looking to buy, now is a really advantageous time to buy. The problem you're going to have is that you have so many options. It's going to be picking one or making a choice to say, this is the one that works. I like the layout. This works for my life reason. And typically when it comes to making a smart decision for appreciation, it's pretty hard to make a wrong decision, since basically all of them appreciate usually at 5 to 8%, which is another piece that I'll get into a little bit later, where historically last year we saw 20% appreciation in Wichita. It got ranked as one of the highest appreciating metros in the whole entire country. But now we're seeing it appreciating more at 7% this year. So using data and numbers and specifics helps people really understand these qualitative terms that people use, like, well, home prices aren't falling, but they're not rising as much. It's like, okay, give me a number. Like, well, last year they appreciated 20%. This year they're appreciating at 7%, to give you an idea. Next slide. Maybe my thing will cooperate. Not wanting to cooperate now. Don't you love that? There we go. Closed listings by month gives you an idea. So this is where active listings we see are going up. Number of sales, though, is going down, to where in May of 2024, we sold 925 units. And in June, we sold 873, which is very unusual. Typically, what we see is like what you see in the green bar and the red bar from 22 and 23 is that June typically sees more sales than May as far as number of units go. And then you see this dog days of summer in July where it kind of slumps. It's hot. People are on vacation. They get kind of tired from this home searching. Picks up again in August. People are wanting to get this done, see what's out there. And then it kind of starts to trail off towards the end of the year, just as buyer interest wanes and people aren't quite as motivated to buy this time of year, can't find what they want. They start to psychologically tap out with everything. But there are homes that do transact all the way throughout the year, just not as many that go on in the spring and the summer. So when people ask me consistently, when's the best time to buy a house? It's like, well, the best time is when you're personally financially able and ready and it makes sense for your life situation. Now we navigate these seasons of the market for you to best understand what's going on, because even though the spring and the summer there are more listings, there's also more buyers and more competition. So some of the best times to buy a house can be in the fall and the winter. As the competition starts to come down, you have less people shopping, less people competing, less offers, sellers more willing to negotiate, give in on their price, that kind of thing. And that's where a skilled negotiator like myself comes in, who knows how to play this game. And I typically have a ramp up into June and July, then my business kind of trails off too, just because I want to enjoy June and July also. And then it starts to ramp back up into the winter, just knowing my personal production trends and where I really like helping people get through on things. Because really you make the money when you buy these things and you make a smart purchase decision and buy decision, just like when you're flipping a house. You don't really make the money at the end, 3-5 years down the road when you sell it. You make the money when you buy smart and a good house and a good location with a good layout, good bones. Maybe it needs some updates. Maybe it needs a bedroom, a bathroom, some value add, some things like that. It's what I typically try to like to see in a house and help you create that value with it and what you can do with it. And that's one of my favorite things to do is going into the fall and the winter season is kind of ramp things back up. Well, in a lot of ways, everyone else is slacking off, taking off. Like that's where your opportunity's at. So if I can help you with that, I'd love to. It's one of my bread and butter, best things to do. There we go. Average price. So this shows you that home prices are not falling. 2022, we saw them take their traditional bell curve and stay pretty stable all the way through fall and winter. 2023, we saw them also follow their traditional bell curve and then stay fairly stable into the fall and winter. But then for some reason in October, we saw a big old dip, which basically just means people were buying lower priced houses. It doesn't necessarily mean that your home prices fell. It's just that's where people are choosing to buy, and then they jump back up in November and December. And then in blue for 2024, we're seeing the price continue to increase. So this is where Wichita sees a pretty stable, steady appreciation rate as far as real estate goes. So it's really a hard situation to make a wrong choice or wrong move here. But this is proof right here that shows like prices are not falling, even though number of sales is lower than what we're used to and lower than June. Like June was lower than May. You're seeing here that the price of what is closing is increasing in price and in value. So the connotation to think that prices are falling market wide is not true. Obviously everybody's house, neighborhood, pocket's a case by case scenario situation, but overall the market price is holding strong and steady with all that. Here's the data and the proof to back it up. Last one, average days on market for closed listings is 24. So keep in mind, it takes weeks and months to sell a house now anymore. It used to be hours, days, maybe a week or two, but we all got so accustomed, so used to that situation. And that's not really the case anymore. And that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with the market. There's nothing wrong with houses. This is just normal real estate. We're back to a normal market is what it is. And I think we just got so spoiled, so adjusted to that insane market of 3% interest rates, 4%, and people, everybody and their brother buying a house, and all you had to do is just talk to enough people and it worked. We're back to normal real estate and a typical real estate cycle and kind of some form of stability and sanity. But that doesn't necessarily mean that if the house has been on the market for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes even longer, there's anything wrong with it. That's just how long it takes for a house to sell anymore. So if that's the case, obviously sellers are more likely, more able to negotiate potentially, or what we've seen, a lot of stable people around here have their house paid off free and clear, or they're in a stable financial situation, so they don't have to sell it. So if they don't get the price they want, they'll keep it and try again next year. They'll keep it and rent it out, and that is legitimate. That's not just like a bullying, negotiating, stalling tactic. If you come in and think you can give $350,000 for a $415,000 house, like there's got to be some justification for that. So if you're just trying to lowball because it's been on the market forever, like that doesn't always work. Like, not saying it doesn't, but just giving you the right expectation up front that just because you want to go in and be super low and aggressive on it doesn't necessarily mean that's gonna happen. And keep in mind, buying and selling real estate is unlike anything else that you buy and sell. So getting discounts, getting special deals, all these accommodations like you see everywhere else in clothes, cars, food, all these things where you get comps, discounts, special promotions, like doesn't really apply here because it's not the same situation of what we're buying and selling, because we are buying an asset that appreciates and they're unique and you can't recreate them or reproduce them. And a lot of those other marketing and sales tricks that people pull in other industries don't really work or apply here, but we bring that psychology to the real estate market. And so there's kind of a mental adjustment, attitude adjustment when it comes to buying a house, and some of the negotiating terms that go with that. Really lean on your agent to be your teacher and your coach and your guide on how this really works. Not necessarily just what you feel like it works or think it works or what headlines said or your parents or brothers or uncles or friends who bought a house 5 years ago said, because even 5 years ago isn't relevant now. Like you really got to stay up with the times of what's working right now in 2024. Last one, average days on market. So active listings is 58 days. So you can kind of see where this follows a reverse bell curve. Both of these kind of do. Average days on market in January, February is high, and then through the spring and summer it goes down, and then it starts to come back up into the fall and the winter as houses sit longer. But it doesn't necessarily mean houses don't close and sell or there's something wrong with them. This is just the typical buying behavior of the real estate market, understanding at scale what mass human behaviors are doing. So anyway, that's the rest of the presentation. Let's recap. Supply of homes for sale is growing. There's more new home construction out there to choose from. Builders are more willing to give incentives, price breaks, things like that, that go with it. But in some ways they don't do price breaks. They'll sit on them as long as they need to get it sold. There's less buyer competition. Home prices are moderating. This should give you an idea of 4 opportunities for Q3, Q4 in Wichita in 2024. And I'd love to help you work on some of these, really dive into it all. If you're looking to relocate to Wichita, buy a house in Wichita, it's one of my bread and butter things that I do. And follow the link below to check out my website, schedule time to talk, look at houses. And I'd really love to work with you and get the opportunity to introduce myself, interview, see if we're a good fit or not, and just kind of go from there. Appreciate you watching as always. We'll talk with you soon. See ya.